Hey, good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming out. We're going to talk a little bit about emotion arithmetic, and as Doug said, my name is Chad Jennings, and I'm a product manager at Google. So we don't have a lot of time together, so we are only going to talk about big questions. We're going to start off with what is love? People have been arguing about the definition of love since the beginning of arguing. Poets refer to it, Shakespeare called it an ever-fixed mark. Biologists have somewhat more pragmatic prose about love, is that it's a way to convince parents to act against their own best interests to protect their progeny. My daughter, I think, has a unique take on this, where she calls it that happy, fuzzy feeling. But since we all in this room are data nerds, we are going to go full-on algebra with this. And I'm going to say that love is equal to trust plus joy. Where did I come up with that? In fact, I did not. So Dr. Robert Plutchik, and not quite the latest research in psychology, he actually published this theory in 1980. Did a lot of work. He categorized it as the wheel of emotion, and it's about categorizing and even just deriving which emotions are base emotions and which emotions can be derived from base emotions. And you can derive these, from his work, you can derive these actual algebraic equations. I won't read them, the text is quite big enough. And an example of text not being big enough, this is the full complement of Dr. Plutchik's wheel. And the way you read this is emotions that are in the center of the wheel are more intense, and emotions on a single spoke of the wheel are the same category, but ever decreasing intensity as you move out from the center. And here's how you do the algebra. So zeroing on the top left, or sorry, the top right of the wheel, if you sum any two emotions in adjacent spokes, you get the emotion that's in the intervening white space. So here you can see joy plus trust equals love. I can testify that before I came out here, I wasn't quite feeling terror, but definitely a little bit of fear. And as I walk out and I see this room filled with so many folks, definitely some amazement and surprise. So awe is not a bad characterization for what I, myself, am feeling right now. So what does that mean? What can we do with this? I've called this emotion arithmetic, and we're going to show you a system where you can use it to get some interesting insights. So let's pretend that we're investigating written reviews of a product. In this case today, I'm going to go through a cosmetic product. And we're a business that interacts with our customers and prospective customers through text reviews. And we're looking for people who show anticipation and joy, because according to Plutchik's theory, that equals optimism. And I will hypothesize right now that optimistic customers are the ones that are most readily convertible to be outstanding brand ambassadors. Okay, so let's go look for our optimists. Well, it so happens I found one here. We won't go through the entire paragraph, but you can see there are some very strong positive sentiments highlighted in blue, and some very strong negative ones highlighted in red. But the sentiment itself doesn't necessarily capture that, right? So this is the sentiment derived from the natural language processing API in Google Cloud. And it kind of, the strong negative and the strong positive kind of cancel one another out, right? You see that there's a strong magnitude, so you know the level of emotion is high, but you kind of can't tell which direction they're headed. But you can use a particular API to decompose that into the underlying emotions, like what's driving this. And this is kind of interesting. I'm so glad I got this product, right? That's definitely describing joy, and you see a high joy score. This product does a great job, again, supporting the joy. Hopefully they'll include some more affordable packaging. There's some anticipation. I really hate the price. There's a bit of fear and a little bit of anger. So what you can use this emotional decomposition for is to get at what's really driving the sentiment scores that you see. And so not just presenting on psychology, I come from Google, so every Google talk has to have a big block diagram in it. And what's special about this architecture, so we developed this demo, we'll go through it more in a session later on today, but we developed this demo to show a couple things. One, that you can incorporate research into your product analysis stacks. Two, that you can combine data from a variety of different sources and process it both streaming in real time. Every product in this in this architecture has both streaming and batch modes, and it's serverless. So you can go from querying or processing 1,000 messages to 100 million with no change of code. Google handles the scale. So whether your company is in any one of these categories or another one that interacts with customers either online or through text, this architecture might be interesting to you. So whether you align with the poets or the biologists or the algebraicists or with my daughter, I hope I've piqued your interest a little bit in both the architecture that we've described and in Robert Plutchik's work. And if I have done so, please come check us out. We'll do a session later today. You can stop by the booth or find us online. Thank you very much. Thanks for your time. I'm Chad Jennings.